Blu Laker in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, we're located very conveniently at 717 South 9th Street, which is at the corner of Charleston and 9th. And it's 717 South 9th Street. Anyway, again, my name is Blu Laker. This is Cobra USA is the name of my radio program, but we emanate from the studio of Radio Tribune. And Radio Tribune also has a publication they put out every week. It's the Las Vegas Tribune. You're going to find a lot of valuable information in that, stuff you won't normally find on your television or internet services. So if you get a chance, by all means, take a look at the Las Vegas Tribune, and it emanates right here from Radio Tribune in Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, a lot of information you just won't find someplace else. We have a lot of new information today about Comley and his testimony in front of the legislative body. And to me, it was a complete waste of time. Did we find out something? We found out a few things, and nothing, any substance, to be honest. And to put all of these committees and hook up to all the media and everything else is a very expensive proposition. To do what? Are we thinking about impeaching Donald Trump? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't believe that there's enough information related to what Comley says to bring charges against the President of the United States. And so be it. As far as Comley's testimony is concerned, I think Trump made it fairly clear that the reason he wanted to get on with the business of the state was to let him think about the important issues that we need to take care of. And there's many of them. I'll go over those in a few minutes. But the point is that we can't have a defeatist attitude, and we can't have all of the deplorable acts of the Democratic Party, which are really causing the muck, or muckus, I should say, in Washington, D.C. Who the hell do they think they are? They're not the majority party. And yet they won't cooperate, they won't budge an inch. Not an inch will they budge in helping to restore America to its greatness. And that's really what we have to think about, is how do we go about making great this American soil? Well, first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of, like I said, all of the worms that are crawling out of the can to surface and point fingers at people without substance. Come on. Isn't it his right to say, hey, listen, I've got a great job to do. I need to help. And this is an issue that really is taking up too much time. You know, I hope you feel the way I do about this, and we can move on. And that was about the essence of what was said. But think of all of the valuable time that we're losing for those senators and other people that are involved who only have a limited amount of time that they actually are acting. You know, they have so many vacations and weekends and all those things off that we should be able to get them to concentrate on what's important and not just things that are irrelevant. What's it going to turn to? You think that we're going to have a grand jury investigation of Donald Trump? And is that just going to blow more smoke? Well, I believe that's the case. I think he's doing what he can as quick as he can, and I think we should let him do his job just like every other person that we know has to do when they work for somebody else. And by the way, Donald Trump works for us. If we're going to fire him, we'll let you know. But until that time, why don't you just shut up? And again, this is Blu Laker. And if you'd like to talk to me personally, you can do that at 702-743-8297. That's 743-8297. I don't like the way the media and other power structures manipulate people, who brainwash people into thinking that something that is untrue is true, and force it down our throats and cause us to have a crisis after crisis after crisis. This is not Watergate, for God's sake. We're talking about someone who doesn't even need the job, who's given up his salary to not only the salary, but the presidential plane, which was going to cost billions and billions of dollars. And, don't you realize what he has done? Don't you already? And this is just the beginning. What has he done as far as climate control and the Paris Accord? He said, hey, when you start paying up, we'll get back together with you. But we're not bearing the burden, the financial burden of every little thing that comes down the pipe. You want this to work? We want it to work. But until I see positive proof that everybody else is contributing, get lost. And that's the way it is, because that's the way Donald Trump reacts. He takes things and he gets them done. Some things get out of his control. He's the boss, but there's limitations, as we have seen, because outside influences, particularly the Democrats, have tried to stall with every little thing that goes on, going to court, getting their favorable judges involved. And all that really has to come to an end if we're going to continue as a nation. This nation, hopefully, will regain its prominence again, that we will begin to reshape our destiny. And it's not just these hearings that are important, because we're going to devote a lot of time, and I'm saying we're going to devote a lot of time, not me and not you, but the legislators are going to have a massive amount of work that they need to accomplish in a short period of time. In fact, it's too short. It's too short because, again, our ball stalls. But we have to deal with healthcare. We have to deal with North Korea. We have to deal with ISIS. We have to deal with the gangs here in this country, and particularly in Las Vegas, where the count is 588 gangs. 588 gangs in the Las Vegas proper. Holy smoke. You would think, well, that can't be true. 25,000 some people involved in the gangs. And that includes men and women, or boys and girls, if you want to put it that way. But what kind of life do they have in the future if they go to seek real employment and they have tattoos all over their bodies and rings sticking through their nose and all that stuff? Well, few employers are impressed with that. Very few. And so why do you do it? I see women that are 200 or 300 pounds, but they got the tattoos. And if tattoos did something to attract the other side, I would think that it is a very low priority, that if they really want to attract the other side, they need to trim down. They need to come back to becoming normal again. Normal, yes, normal people. If you look at some of the past videos or films over the years, and we're talking 40, 50 years, we didn't see the obesity that we see today. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting to see people who don't look like they can even fit on the toilet or take up 2 seats in an airplane. It's disgusting. And it all has to do with self-motivation. Obviously, if they can take off 100 or 2 pounds, as many have done, or some at least have done, then everybody can do it. Willpower? Yes. Determination? Yes. But isn't that what life is about? Willpower, determination, and seeing through what you're doing. Even Donald Trump has said, never quit, never quit, never quit. And he meant that. And you don't see him backing off, even with all the adverse comments that are thrown in his direction. Yes, and there have been times when I have felt sorry for some of the people that he stung, but Apparently they had it coming, and more importantly, is he put an end to it quickly. And that's what we need to do with some of the issues that we're talking about today. Immigration is a very strong issue, and there's plenty of people on the other side that are opposed to immigration. I should say reforming immigration, closing the borders, and making America great again. You know, I do understand that when we came into this country as pilgrims, that it was difficult, it was hard to get started, and that we had the help of those savages, Indians if you were, who helped us, who taught us how to plant crops and what crops would grow and how to water them. Not that they didn't know about water, but how to get it to where they were farming. These are the things that were very important back then, because survival was 100 times worse then in terms of the ability to survive because of the conditions, the climatical conditions and everything else. I mean, snow, rain, it was just, they didn't have the refinements that we have today where we can go in and get out of the rain or the snow, or they didn't have those facilities. They had to build them. You see, they built America. They started it. And we have started in a lot of directions here with solar energy, for example, renewable energy from the sun. And if we ever really took the time to do that correctly, we would find that we would not be using the fossil fuels that we have, not like we're doing today. And the issue is that the products that we're using, the oil, the gasoline, and those things, are becoming more and more expensive. You know, it used to be you could buy something for $3.95 a quart of oil. Today they're $6.95, $7.95. Whatever they think they can get away with. Have the costs gone up dramatically? Sure. They've gone up dramatically because across the board we're charging more for transportation. We're charging more for products that are in heavy demand. And we're limiting the ability of those on the lower end to attain them. Now, can you say that's fair? Well, we could say it's fair because you have to earn those, you know, that respect in life. You have to get a job, a decent job. You have to be faithful to the job. You have to understand where you're going. And a lot of times, especially in today's market, nobody knows where they're going. They're just saying, well, after I get out of school, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go play. But, you know, what future do they have if they don't lag on to something and hold on to it until it matures for them? Certainly with the education that we present to our children, they are adequately prepared to go into the job market. But are they adequately prepared for life? And that's really the essence of what we're talking about today, is are they prepared to go into the world of business, or are they going to work at McDonald's for the rest of their lives? Now, I'm not saying McDonald's is a bad job. It also has the opportunity of moving ahead, that you can become, a shift manager, or you can become an assistant manager, or even a manager, because there's plenty of people that leave one way or the other, or they just expand and get more stores. So if you look very carefully, you have ability of some sort, then you can certainly succeed. We have, and it doesn't have to be anything that dramatic. For example, even the street light hangers here in Las Vegas, that is the people that go out and change the light bulbs, are making $120,000 a year. Can you imagine that? The fire department makes a little less than that. Firemen make a little less than hanging light bulbs. Policemen, about the same. So there's opportunity out there if you only apply yourself. But if you get yourself into a position where you've committed a bunch of crimes and doing a lot of drugs and tattoos and acting like the riffraff, well, don't expect life to get better, but it will get worse. And you'll carry the scar with you for life. It's not a good thing to look forward to. The best thing to do is to find something that you really like, can really enjoy, and stick with it. Stay with it. It's like the stock market. The stock market, they say, it's not really for short-term investors. It's really for the long-term investor. And to a degree, that's very true. And what about Social Security? Well, they've raised the age, or I think they're contemplating raising the age to 67 because more people are living longer. But is that fair to the people who have earned that right and maybe they're a couple of years away? I mean, after all, even if you get it at 65, you had to spend a good 45 years in the labor force in order to earn the right. And since they're taking out the money for you on each paycheck, and when you really stop to think about how many paychecks that is, and the amount of money that you put into it, and understand that you could have done a better job than the federal government, who has taken advantage of its citizens and stripped the Social Security system of its monies. Yes, it's a flaw, and if it continues the way it is, we're going to run out of Social Security funds for those who really need it. And will that be fair? Of course, the answer is no. So when we talk about fairness and parity in the law, we should keep in mind that there's forces working against that, forces working against it to deprive us of the rewards that potentially we have as we get older, including retirement plans. In a lot of cases, companies have had to fold. The retirement plan that they had for their employees is null and void because they don't have any regulatories that ensure that that money is there for them. So again, we need to be very careful. Yes, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of laws on the books. Some of those, or maybe even most of them, are antiquated because of the advances we have made. We still hang on to them. And why do we need 535 members of Congress to dictate what you should do on an individual basis? It's not a mandate, it's an order. It's called law and order. But that's the system that we live under. I'm not saying we should not have law and order. I think that what we should do is enforce the laws that we have on the books. And we should make everything count, including our ability to survive for the next 100 or 200 years. And that simply means that we need to look at the available resources and how we're going to continue to provide those resources for the people of the future. Yes, I'm an older guy, and factually, I have a short time span. It could be 20 years, but I don't know. And that's the thing about life, is we don't know in a lot of cases. There are certain God-given rights and privileges that we have and enjoy as human beings. And we're fortunate in this country to have been given this country, which has been bountiful for us and allows us to have a position of being leaders in the world as we should be. But it only works if we get cooperation from all those involved. The ones that are supposed to represent you, I sent out over 200 letters to the Senate, that is the U.S. Senate. I sent it to the Pennsylvania Senate, and I sent it to the Nevada Senate. And how many responses do you think I got? And this, by the way, dealt with Medicare and a plan and a program that helps us get rid of Obamacare and leads the way into the future. Well, the first question was, no one returned the mail. I only got 2 back because of wrong addresses. And that's exactly what happens. You know, you can cry till your eyes are blue to plead with these individuals to listen, to at least accept that responsibility as senators and assembly people, because they're the only ones that can deliver the message. We have little to no chance of being able to directly communicate with the people that make the decisions. Yet we're the ones that are supposed to be making the decisions. Kind of backward and awkward, isn't it? Maybe some of what they've said in the past is true. Control the money and you control the politics of any country. That's what it says. And do we have that here in the United States? Yes, we do. We have an overabundance of lobbyists and people with special interests who believe in their mind that their priorities should be yours. Well, that's not true with most of us. We choose to profess our faith, our religion, in specific ways that are unique to each and every one of us. The government should have no business in religion. As a matter of fact, it's part of the Constitution. Congress shall not impede the right of religion to practice. Good afternoon, this is Lou, and Radio Tribune. How can I help you? Hello? Well, I thought that was a call into the station, but apparently it wasn't. They didn't even answer. Well, that's the way life is. Sometimes you never know who's on the other end of the line, as the president and Comey have just recently discovered that even things that say in private are leaked. And if there's anything that the statements that Comey has put forth is even those highly trusted officials, there's the director of the FBI who leaked information to the social media. Was it his attempt to try to destroy Donald Trump as well? Well, maybe we'll find out, maybe we won't. But as far as what we know today, it seems like this was all talk. There was talk between 2 individuals. In other words, there's no way to collaborate that information, or I should say, to confirm that what was said was really said. Because we're getting 2 different opinions now. And the first opinion is that no one should disclose information that has been discussed in private to someone who's an official of the United States. To leak that information out to the media, and the media to have a football game with the information. So, what I'm suggesting right now is that we need to curb these things. And based upon what was said today, I am of the opinion that Donald Trump did the right thing. He tolerated it as long as he could. And his whole objective was to go forward with the business of president and to get the work done without all of the interferences. What other presidency has had to deal with so many issues, minor issues, that the liberal media gobbles up and tries to turn, they try to turn that splash in the water into a ripple effect that spreads throughout the nation and spreads vile information, false information, information that shouldn't be even brought on the table. And how do we have people like Hillary Clinton getting free airtime for her own agenda. Is it there for any other purpose? Of course. She's promoting herself for something we don't know what. But there's a woman that shouldn't be allowed to walk in this country. She should not be allowed to walk alone in this country because of the atrocities that she has committed. We don't get to hear about those. She doesn't talk about Benghazi, about the 3 murdered servicemen. We don't get to hear all of the information on her emails, information that she disclosed, classified information that she disclosed to other people. Not just on one occasion, but many, many, thousands of times that she decided that information was not classified and that she could broadcast that freely. And I guess really what I don't understand about Hillary Clinton is that she spent so much time on thousands and thousands and thousands of email. How she could even have time enough to type them all. She must have somehow or another did a blanket, spam to get the word out. But she did. Yet we don't really hear about that. What we hear about is why she lost the election. But the reason she lost the election is true people read between the lines. And they could see what she did and how she influenced and how she had planned to. She thought she had all of the everything in order. Well, she didn't. Yes, and there's a couple of blue states, California being one and Nevada being another, where the Democrats have the majority of the population and therefore or consequently control the outcome of individual races. I don't believe that when the forefathers thought about immigration and having people into this country, it was for political purposes, and the political purpose in particular was to take over this country by any means, and the best way is without force. And that's what's happened here, is we have various groups and organizations. ISIS, for example, is one of those groups. Yes, the Islamic radical Islamists. Hey, they're Muslim as far as I'm concerned. And they should be treated just the same way, because they, the Islamic radicals, came with the group. They're in the mix, and we don't know. And it's okay to say we're going to vet them, we're going to do a thorough job, but we've already seen that doing that doesn't work. We had the San Bernardino event where those people had high security clearances and yet decided to take the lives of so many people. You see, vetting by itself does not disclose the evil that's in the mind of man, and there's plenty of it. We can go into so many other things, but we have rules, and those rules are in place for one reason, so that most people will understand them and obey them. And that goes back to the 10 Commandments, because those were pretty simple and written on stone, and written in stone. And so has the Constitution of the United States been written in stone as far as I'm concerned. There's no wavering. There's no changes. We live with the rules and regulations because they're not that hard to understand. And I hope that you have taken the time to listen to this today and to get further information from the Las Vegas Tribune, which is a publication that we put out once a week here, and we're located at 717 South 9th Street. That's right at the corner of 9th and Charleston. So you can feel free to come by and join us and discuss your opinions on Radio Tribune. The name of my show, and my name is Blu Laker, is Cobra USA, and you can reach me at 702-743-8297. We'd love to hear from you. We want other people's opinion. We do not believe that we have all the answers, but we certainly can answer some of your questions. But the only way that you're going to get us to do that is by paying attention and calling 702-743-8297. Again, this is Blu Laker, this is Radio Tribune, and the name of my show is Cobra USA. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Yes. All right. Fine.
Yes, yeah. You outside? All right, that's fine. You don't need a ride?